morning everyone, and welcome to Friday Live in the OHbaby office. My name is Ellie Gwilym and this is Dorothy Waide. Lovely to have you with us today, Dorothy.
Thank you, and good morning to you as well.
Good morning, thanks for joining us. Dorothy is here. She's a regular visitor on Friday Live. Dorothy is a baby expert. You're a baby consultant. You're supporting new families and parents on their parenting journey in a consultancy, aren't you? And you do lots of other things.
Absolutely.
Lots of things happening in your world.
Absolutely, yep.
And we just, a couple of events coming up actually that we were going to tell you all about, where you can see Dorothy in the flesh. You've got an event coming up on Monday week, the 7th of August. Do you want to tell us about that?
Absolutely, it's at OHbaby.
Yeah.
And it's in the evening, and it should be fun. It's just for you all to come along. You can bring your barbs.
Yeah.
Check on OHbaby's Facebook page. I think that's where you register. And it's awesome. I did one last year for them and it was absolutely fantastic. So looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
And we cover everything. Even though we say that we're doing the newborn babies, we're actually covering a wide range, because if you've got sleeping or feeding issues with older babies,
yes,
I normally take you back to a newborn routine anyway of how to settle a baby and resettle. Because if you've got a pickle going on with your older babies, it's because you've either fed to sleep or rocked or done some prop to get them to sleep. So you're not wanting your babies to be left alone. So we need to take you back to the newborn stage and work forward. Yeah. But when we're looking at sleeping and settling, especially settling, it's really important to remember babies do cry, because crying is their words. Yes. And this is my favourite saying at the moment, is crying is words. Words, we stop, we listen and respond. Yeah. And that's so important for babies and toddlers and young children. Yeah,
crying is communication.
Yes.
Got an article on that coming up in the next issue of OHbaby magazine, but I digress. We're also at the baby show coming up in Auckland on the 20th, 21st, 22nd of August. We'll be there, OHbaby magazine will be there, and also Dorothy will be there. You're speaking at a Friday morning session and a Saturday morning session, aren't you?
Yes, I'm first on for both Friday and Saturday morning.
Great.
So get there quick, get your seats, and look forward to seeing you there.
And you can hear from Dorothy live and in the flesh. And right now we're just chatting to Dorothy about anything baby related, and you can ask a question to Dorothy simply by commenting underneath the video, and I will try and see it here on my device, but we have been having technical difficulties lately and the video doesn't show up here, but we'll just see what we can do. We'll see what we can do, won't we? And Dorothy's brought in her little friend here.
Yes, Sammy.
Hi
everyone.
Her little baby doll here, and Sammy is very handy because with Sammy, Dorothy shows us some of her techniques with settling and resettling, even swaddling. But do you want to tell us a little bit about settling and resettling first off? So you've got Sammy here, and you talk about engulfing our babies and shushing and cupping, patting. Do you want to model some of these techniques on Sammy? Yeah?
Absolutely. Let's pretend Sammy is 6 weeks old.
And he's crying.
And he's crying. Wow. He's been up for about 45 minutes, or even close to an hour. Let's say he's been up for an hour. I fed him, burped him, re-offered him a little bit more milk because he seemed a bit hungry, swaddled him, and then I go and put him in his cot or bassinet. Yeah. And as soon as I walk, and I close up the room, dark is really important for sleeping.
Dark is important, yeah.
Walk out the room. Now, as soon as Sammy starts crying, I'm not going to go, oh, just go and ring my girlfriend, make a cup of coffee. Remember, crying is words, so we stop and we listen. Yeah. Now, this is where parents have got choices. You can go straight back in and pick Sammy up. Yeah. You can just stop and see what he does. He's only 6 weeks old, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to pick him up and I'm going to engulf him. Now, when I hold a baby, it's like that, so you can see a big gap there. When I engulf a baby, I turn them right into me like that, so they're really nice and close to me. Now, some babies don't like this position, so turn them around that way and engulf them that way. You've got to be a little bit artistic in your holds, because every baby is different.
So you would use the word engulf. It's really meaning you're enclosing the baby really close to you, so they feel that closeness and connection.
It's nice, firm, security. They've got everything they want. And what I do is I either sit in the dark. Now, if you can't sit in a dark room all day, so what I tend to do is, if I've got a spare room, is I will go and sit down, and I will just engulf my baby. Now, babies do need dark to sleep, but they also, when they're in the arms, for some unknown reason, they will go to sleep. Now, I have millions of photos with babies like that, buried into my armpit. I used to think it was because they liked my deodorant. But actually, this was before I knew about melatonin, years ago. But they were actually looking for the
find the darkness.
Yeah, the darkness.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I engulf. Now, I am going to let Sammy cry to me.
Yeah.
Because he's telling me his story.
Yeah.
And we don't want to plug him. We don't want to stop him.
Yeah.
But we want to be there for him.
Yeah.
Our cortisol levels are going to rise higher than his.
Yes.
Because he's beautifully engulfed and really in calm.
Yeah.
So I sit here. Now, my sort of rule is, well, it's not a rule, but sort of my guideline is they can cry for a minute for every week they are, but not go over 5 minutes.
Okay.
But he's only 6 weeks. I'm probably, knowing me, not even going to get to 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's stressful, right?
Yeah, it's hard. So I let him talk to me. Then I start my cupping and shushing. So I'm going to do the length of my shushing, and this is the length of my comfort.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 3 shushes, okay? So I start cupping, and I go, shh.
Yeah. Like the sound of the tyre emptying.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find a video here. I'm not ignoring. Oh, here we go. I found it.
And then I stop.
I'm not ignoring Dorothy. I'm just looking for the video.
Looking for the video. We've got to get tech savvy here, don't we?
Okay, I found it.
Awesome. And then we stop and we allow him to cry for the same length of time he did the first time, or less. Now, people go, oh, but you're letting your baby cry. Babies don't need to cry. Of course they do. It's their words.
Yeah.
But please don't leave your baby over there in a bassinet. There are too many professionals out there saying you can spoil a newborn.
Yeah.
You can't spoil a newborn.
Yeah.
I don't even believe you can spoil a 5-year-old as long as they've got good boundaries.
Yes, yeah.
So you can't spoil. They need this nurturing.
Yeah.
This is the only time we've got
Yeah.
to hold these babies. And you stop and start and do that.
Yeah.
And around about 20 minutes, if not with my newborns, I'm hoping it's a lot quicker.
Yeah.
But they actually go to sleep. Or at the 20-minute mark, you cup and shush them.
Okay.
And yes, I use my dummies. I've got my dummy today. But I don't give my dummy to the baby as soon as I pick them up. I let them talk to me for a few minutes.
Yes.
And then I'll bring it in.
Yes. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're live here with Dorothy Waide on Facebook Live and her little friend Sammy. And she's showing us how to engulf, how to shush and cup and pat to get them to settle and resettle, get baby to settle and resettle. We've also got some questions coming in from you, so we'll come back to Sammy.
Absolutely. Sammy's sleeping in my arms.
He's now asleep because that's how good Dorothy is. Jean asks, I have a 7-month-old who still wakes in the middle of the night for a feed. I think it's more habit than hunger. Going to sleep isn't an issue and his naps are good, but are there any tips for helping sleep through? So it is often a habit, isn't it, by this point, that waking of the baby for a feed, a 7-month-old?
No. What it is you've got to look at your daytime routine.
Yeah.
And everyone thinks they've got a good daytime routine, and everyone thinks their babies feed well.
Yeah.
So ideally at 7 months, your baby's awake for around 3 hours.
Yeah.
If not
During
slightly
the day,
longer. If not slightly longer.
Overnight,
They're having sleeping overnight, having 2 naps a day of a minimum of an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Then we need to look at their wake cycle. How are you feeding them?
Yeah.
And if you do, and whether you're doing milk, solids, milk, whatever you're doing, you need to look at how you feed them. Now, I'm not PC, and when I've got a sleep issue with an older baby, I will look at how you're feeding.
Yeah.
And I recommend, and for years I've done it, is that they get their solids and then they get their milk straight after.
Right.
Because a lot of babies who are waking up overnight as they get older,
Yeah.
especially for the 10 months plus,
Yeah.
they're actually looking for that sucking feed in the morning. So
Yeah.
they wake looking for that sucking comfort.
Yeah.
So you remove the sucking feed and replace it with solids,
Yeah.
and we've got babies that sleep well at night.
Right.
The other is making sure you're not feeding constantly through their wake cycles. So they get up within half an hour, let's say max, they get their, let's say we'll start with breakfast, solids and milk.
Yeah.
They play. Then they get a milk feed.
Yeah.
And then they go into their sleeping bag and they go down. So their morning and afternoon tea, their snack food, what we're going to call it, because everyone's hot on giving babies snacks. They don't need snacks. Their snacks are their milk feeds. It's nutritionally balanced. It's what they need.
Yeah.
And you're not doing a feed sleep association. You're feeding, sleeping bag and sleep.
Yeah.
The other things I look at is what type of solids are you giving your baby?
Yeah.
Are you loading them with sugar, i.e. fruit?
Yeah.
Are you giving them any carbs at night?
Yeah.
So it's really looking at that daytime routine.
Yeah.
If he's doing 45-minute naps, then you need to try resettling in the day.
Yeah.
And also when he wakes at night, resettle before you feed.
Before you feed. Okay.
And if you resettle, which takes up to 45 minutes,
Yeah.
that's not with him lying in the bed crying and you sitting in the other room saying, Dorothy Waide said to leave him for 45 minutes. Absolutely not. It's giving him the right and the ability to resettle within an appropriate time, an appropriate comfort zone for you. And then you go in and you do your cupping.
Yeah. So even with the 7-month-old, it's the same technique apparent as we've got.
Absolutely, that's why I'd go back to Sammy 6 weeks.
6 weeks, okay.
And you would work with him. Now, if he doesn't like being touched, then I would. There's various ways of doing it.
Yeah.
You can either touch in the cot if he doesn't like touch. If he doesn't like cupping, then you can either lie on the floor in the room while he's going back to sleep, or pick him up and put him within your body and put your arms over him and let him find a sleep within you.
Now, so just to clarify, for a 7-month-old, this is Jen's 7-month-old, who's waking in the middle of the night. So you were saying just resettle first before offering a feed to a 7-month-old?
No, first I would look at their daytime routine.
Yeah, but we're in the night now. We've done that. We've looked at the day.
And we've sorted the day out. Then absolutely resettling at night.
Yeah. So he doesn't need that milk feed.
At
7 months old.
Baby, my belief is that once, and I can see everybody getting up in arms about this, but once babies are on a full diet, 3 solid meals a day, their milk feeds, they don't need to be fed overnight. Where is obesity coming from? Yeah. You know, we've got to look at this thing very clearly. Back in the 50s, the olden days when you were all rigidly fed, there wasn't the obesity in toddlers and children as there is nowadays.
Yeah.
And that was too rigid in the 50s, but was swung the extremes. So we've got to find that nice balance, you know, down the middle parenting.
And just to give some more context and some hope, some light at the end of the tunnel. So Jen's going to try this, settling and resettling before offering a feed. How long do you think this would take before you could get your 7-month-old to sleep through?
Minimum of 6 weeks.
Right.
Because it takes a minimum of 6 weeks to change their circadian rhythm. Yeah. Because you're not working at 100%. 100% it would be 3 weeks. Yeah. And it does depend on the baby. It depends on you. So, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
It does take time. It takes a minimum of 10 days. Yeah. So every step I do is for a minimum of 10 days. Yeah. The first 3 to 4 days are always tough days, like horrible days. Yeah. If you're changing an older baby, we all want to give up on day 2. I do. Yeah. I'm human. Yeah. But at some stage you've got to get through to day 10. If you haven't got that dim light, at the end of day 10 you need to relook at what you're doing. Yeah. Okay, we've got another question from Bridget. Tips for a 9-month-old to stop night feed. So it's kind of a similar thing, Same
right?
thing.
Isn't it?
Yep.
She's in her own room, sleep sack.
At 9 months. At 9 months, though, I can clearly say, and I'm within the boundaries of all the professionals out there, is that they have solids before their milk. Yeah. So they get up, they get solids, they get milk. They play, their morning tea is milk. Yeah. They go down for a nap. Yeah. They get up, they have their lunch, which is veggies and stuff. Yeah. I give them a sippy cup of water there. Yeah. Before they go down for their afternoon nap, they get afternoon tea, which is a full milk feed. Yeah. They have their nap, they get up, they get their dinner, their milk. Now another thing is that when babies wake up in the afternoon, they might wake up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but people aren't feeding them their solids until 4:30, 5 o'clock. Yeah. Babies are over it. Yeah, right. You know, they're too tired to manage that meal. So times are exhausting, aren't they? Yeah, so if your baby's up for 3-hour wake cycles and they wake up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon from their second nap, their dinner's at 3:30. Okay, yeah. Okay, so over dinner, that. And then you go in, so they get solids and milk into the evening routine of bath, I call it the 3 B's, bath, boob or bottle, and bed. Yeah. Now once they go to bed, if they take longer to self-settle than they do for their naps, pick them up and refeed them because they still pass the feed. Yeah, let's give them some more milk. Okay, now Gina also adds in this question line, that 7-month-old baby has a dream feed at 10 o'clock. Can we talk about dream feeds for a while? This will get exciting. Oh, this is going to be exciting. What do you think about the dream feeds? The dream feeds? They just don't look. For some people, they work because people get the false pretense that they're getting a longer night's sleep. Yeah. But you're waking your baby up. You're disturbing your baby in their deepest sleep. Yeah. So my rule of thumb overseas was my babies at 16 weeks would sleep 11, 12 or 13 hours. Yeah. They didn't sleep solid. Babies, no. We don't sleep. They woke. They woke, but they resettled. You settled them without feeding them. Well, I didn't even have to resettle them because they could resettle overnight. So they wake and resettle. Yeah. So a dream feed breaks into that deep sleep period. So therefore, if you've got a 7-month-old baby that is still waking for a night feed, the dream feed is not working. And even the professionals who recommend dream feeds have actually started saying that if the babies are waking more, then it's not working. It's detrimental, So what I'd be saying to you is drop the dream feed, make sure you've got the daytime balance right, and resettle at that time of the night, and resettle. Now, resettling overnight is not about not feeding. It's ensuring you're feeding for hunger and not for comfort.
Yeah.
Because all babies, when you pick them up at night and you put a boob or a bottle in their mouth, they suck. It's a comfort.
Yes.
So they will have a good feed.
Sure, yeah.
Okay?
Okay, we've got a question here about colic from Helen. My 8-week-old son has really bad colic. He pretty much cries from morning to night after a feed. He will only sleep on people. As soon as I put him down in his bed, he will wake after 5 to 20 minutes. Then we pick him up and he goes back to sleep, on Sammy modelling his
Yep.
Well, I don't mind doing this at this stage. I'm worried about what we're doing and how it will lead on, wanting him to sleep and get better and sleep in bed, etc., etc. How can I gently and slowly get him to sleep in his own bed?
Well, he was inside the womb for 9 months, so he's got to get used to the outside world.
Yeah.
If he's a baby in pain, the best position is this.
Yeah.
My best bit of advice is don't do anything in arms that you can't replicate in a cot.
Yes.
So he's got colic, you're probably doing a lot of large movements, swinging, swaying. Stop that and just engulf.
Yeah.
So I've got great newborn notes and tutorials, but basically for your little man, I would be giving him a product called Dorothy Drops, which is really good.
Where do you get Dorothy Drops?
kqbaby.co.nz or from babyhelp.co.nz or from Dimples. So we all sell them and they're awesome. Just make sure you let me know and make sure you get the instruction sheet that I send out as well.
Great.
And they're fantastic and they do work really well.
Yeah.
But they only work well if you get to make it work with the baby.
Yeah.
So there's more than one way to give them.
Sure.
But the goal is to give them at every feed.
Yeah.
So once you feed him, then you would go and put him in his cot. As soon as he cries, pick him up, engulf him. This engulfing position I learnt with my reflux babies.
Yeah.
Okay? And you just sit and you hold. And you'll find the position on your body where you'll put him.
Yes, yeah.
And then you just let him cry. He's got to get that pain out that you haven't got out for him.
Yeah.
And then do the comfort. Okay? The other thing is, if he's a colicky baby, I would be looking at your diet. If you're breastfeeding, there's 3 main food groups. I would suggest that you take dairy and eggs out for 72 hours.
Okay.
And that's not just taking partial dairy because it won't give you a good reading.
Yeah.
So you've got to take all the dairy out. So you've got to read everything.
Yeah.
And also eggs for 72 hours.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I say 72 hours, I know fully well, it's going to take a good 6 months to get all that out of your system.
Yeah.
But for the clients I've worked with where there's been either an egg or dairy intolerance, within 24 hours I've got to change baby.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it can work that fast.
Yeah.
But at the 72 hours, if there's a slight change, then I'd keep plugging because and keep the dairy and egg out for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But if there's no difference, bring it back in and take out wheat gluten.
Yeah.
Do 72 hours. No difference, then take out sugar for 72 hours.
Yeah.
But there's also great alternative therapies. There's people out there that do kinesiology. Reflexology is good. Acupuncture. Look for a really good wellness holistic chiropractor.
Yes.
I work closely with one in Coates Avenue, a dealer of his. But David Craddock in Ponsonby is an awesome acupuncturist and he's really good. So it's finding somebody that works well with you and helps you through with your baby.
Yes, and good reminder there, we've just put an article on our website this week from a dealer actually.
Oh, good.
It should be still on our homepage about anxious babies and how she can treat and help that stress phenomenon that affects parents as well as their children. And in that article are links to a dealer's practice in Coates Ave.
Yeah, and it is amazing.
Yeah.
And look, sometimes you need to have three people. You have somebody like myself, like a consultant. You have somebody like a dealer, and you have your village around you.
Yes.
But also you might need, because colic sometimes and reflux, they do go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So if I have a reflux baby, colic's normally underlying. If I've got a colic baby, the reflux is underlying. And unfortunately, I've got some clients that have a double whammy bang bammy, and they are really hard because their babies cry. There's nothing they can do. But the best thing I would suggest that you do is keep still, engulf your baby.
Yeah.
Don't use the white noise. Don't use all the large external rocking.
Okay.
Because none of that is going to calm the baby.
Colic, no,
it's not. It's not. And it's just a prop.
Yeah.
But you can bring those things in because I do. Didn't I start cupping?
Yeah.
And didn't I start shushing? Shushing is white noise. Cupping is movement. Now, when I've got a reflux or colicky baby, instead of cupping there, I might cup there because that's where the pain is, or cup underneath there. Okay.
So you're applying a gentle movement pressure to the small of his back.
Yeah. Or there. Instead of going like that or like that, some babies like a pat and a rock. Yeah. So you've got to. I feel my babies, and I know that's hard to explain to people, but I don't get it right all the time. Yeah. I've got to do a couple of.
They're all different.
Yeah. And you've got to work through with them, and you've got to find the answer. But the best bit of advice with a newborn baby is to keep still, because if you hold your baby for say 12 to 16 weeks and you're not doing any movement and you're letting them have a cry and falling asleep on you, then you're just going to replace them into the cot. You don't have to get rid of all that large movement that all the 16-week-old or the 12-week-old babies are trying to do from that.
Yes, you haven't created extra habits to break. Okay, this is good. Hopefully that was helpful for you, Helen. It is a hard road with the colicky baby, but there is light at the end of the tunnel, isn't there? This too shall pass. Yeah,
and also don't forget, I've got a book, You Simply Can't Spoil a Newborn.
You Simply Can't Spoil a Newborn. Dorothy's amazing book, available on her website and at Wickles and
and Dimples, and there's a lot of baby shop stores that are now selling it, but there's also USB stick that I sell and Dimples sell. Yeah. And I had this amazing sort of, just a wonderful sort of review or compliment from a client I was talking to last night. Who said the book was just her Bible. Oh. You know, that's really good. Great. And she went off and did something else with her babies. Yeah. But it's come back.
Come back to the book,
Yep, come back to the book.
Keep the book handy. You can dip in and dip out. There's chapters on everything you need to know. You can just go in, find the chapter you need, and get some help. Be back on your way. Here's a question from Marley about dummies, weaning dummies from a 2-year-old. He loves them. Any tips there? Now I know you say, I'm going to try and show you how much Dorothy has taught me. Here's a tip: leave the dummy. Dummy is for bedtime, so you've got to teach the child that is in a place where they can have the dummy in the cot. Yep. It doesn't come out of the cot or the bed. But with a 2-year-old, how do you tackle that? Would you let the 2-year-old have the dummy for sleep, basically as long as they want it? Or?
Absolutely. I mean, that's their comfort. They've had it for 2 years. Yeah. So if I came into your home and took away your iPad or your phone as your comfort zones or your cup of coffee, you wouldn't be happy with me. So why take away their comfort? Yeah. But it's about parenting, and it's about showing them boundaries. Sure. And it stays in the cot. So when he gets up in the morning, it gets taken out of his mouth. He either gives it to you, he put it in a special cup, or put it on a special shelf. Yeah. Somewhere where he doesn't have to look at it all day.
Yes. But be reminded.
Yeah, and somewhere that he can't get access to. Yeah. And he is going to throw a tantrum, because he's going to express he's frustrated because you are changing his lifelong habits. Yeah. So you've got to go with it, and you've got to work with him. Yeah. But don't give it back to him. Yeah. You know, you've made the decision, so if he wants it, then pop him back in the cot.
Right, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, so 2-year-old's going to be pretty strong-willed about this situation, I'd imagine. So you're saying hold the line, dummy stays in the cot for bedtime. Absolutely. And they'll move on. How long do you sort of see it taking for a 2-year-old to...
Depends on the type of parenting you parent. Yeah. So if you're a parent that sort of has really wavy boundaries like this, then it's going to take longer. Right. Okay? Yeah. But think of the child. It's better to have those boundaries and put them in place. Yeah. Then he's still got his comfort for when he goes to bed. Yeah. I say to them, but I'm your comfort. Come and sit on my knee. Yeah. Yeah. You know, mummy wants a cup. Yeah. I'm your comfort. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They don't need it. Yes. You know?
We have a couple of articles on our website as well, OHbaby.co.nz, about weaning off the dummy, and there's lots of different strategies out there that people have used. There's the dummy fairy, and you know, the passing on of the dummy to another child who needs it, and all those sort of tactics just to help the child process maybe the thought of letting it go.
That's for like a 4 or 5 year. Okay. To me, that's an older child. Yeah. Because you can communicate, they can visualize that, and they can talk to that. Sure. But a 2-year-old's still a little.
They're just going to go, whatever.
Yeah, they've had that for 2 years. You've given it to them. Yeah. It's like all of a sudden when they turn 2, you want to put boundaries. You start not letting them poke out their tongue or something. Yeah. And this is where that word terrible twos came from.
Too tricky. Yeah.
But they're not terrible. They're testy and they're territorial. Yes. Yeah. So remember that when you're going to take that dummy off him. Yeah. He's testy. He's territorial. Okay, so think of a nice way to do it, and you might get him out of the cot give them a cuddle for 5 minutes and talk about birds and bees out the window.
Yeah.
And then just pop the dummy out and put it away.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be cold, but do it in a nurturing way. But
Okay.
have your boundaries.
Great. Yeah. All right, we've got lots of questions coming in. This always happens, and then we run out of time, but that's okay, because we'll be back again with Dorothy another time for Friday Live. So, and don't forget, you can always ask Dorothy a question at ohbaby.co.nz/askourexperts, and we pass that on to Dorothy. And you can find Dorothy on her website, babyhelp.co.nz. Okay, we've got a question here we can sort of wrap up with from Kirsty. I've got a 2.5 month old that was 6 weeks early, and she's now 5 weeks corrected. Not sure how to treat her stage of sleeping. Skin to skin was so important in the neonates time, and now she'll only go to sleep on us or in her pram. We have to make sure she is fully asleep before putting in her bassinet, which is quite tiring. So a prem baby who's been age corrected 5 weeks now.
Okay, so with the prem babies, I actually look at their corrected age and their birth age.
Yeah.
And then I go in the middle, because they're somewhere in the middle.
Right.
Okay. And for some things they'll be closer to that side, for some things they'll be closer to that side.
Yeah.
So I look at that side. She's used to being in your arms. Go to my website, get my video on how to settle a baby in arms.
Yes.
Get my book. It's just awesome. Take the time. Yes, parenting is tiring.
Yeah.
Parenting's a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
But the best thing, again, because I noticed that word pram, is no external movement that you cannot put in a bassinet or a cot.
Yeah.
Because that's a crucial thing, is it's great, you can do this, and also when you put them to sleep in your arms, they have to make their words.
Yes,
okay?
so they will be crying.
Yeah, and then you intervene.
Communication.
Yes, and then you intervene, and you stop, let them make their words.
Yeah.
Did it, and you keep going and stopping and starting. If by the mark of 20 minutes they're not asleep, then you keep cupping and shushing till they go to sleep, and they will go to sleep.
Yeah.
You know, and you can, some of them, if their eyes are open, just stroke down and close their eyes.
Gentle stroke.
Just gentle stroke. But this is where babies are meant to be.
Yeah.
You know, we're a society that we want to rush and rush and rush, but take the time out, and it's hard work. But this is the easy part of parenting, I reckon. You know, because they get harder. And that's the mother with older children.
We're supposed to be encouraging people, Dorothy.
but enjoy this time. Hold them. Because so many people look back as a parent and go, why didn't we do it?
What was the rush?
Why didn't we listen to our instincts?
Yeah.
Why did we listen to that professional person?
Yeah.
This is crucial. This is important.
Yeah. So basically, for Kirsty, there's no concern really with having baby fall asleep in her arms.
As long as she's keeping still, the body's a mattress, as long as she's allowing her baby to tell her story, and as long as whatever she's doing is sort of giving him the right and the ability to find his sleep, but holding his hand and being there with him.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Dorothy. Once again, you have covered a whole range of ideas and topics and concepts. You can find out more on our website and on Dorothy's website. Find Dorothy's articles on our site where she explains in more detail some of the things we've talked about this morning. Thank you for joining us for Friday Live, and a huge thank you to you, Dorothy, for coming along. And
my pleasure.
Sammy, he's been very good this morning.
He has his name.
But Dorothy does have the magic touch, so he just sleeps. He's
awesome.
He's so awesome. Do join us again for Friday Live in future, and have a great afternoon. See you later.
Bye.